Hello everyone, welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode 437. It is I, your host, Nicola Moras, working all things visibility, stepping into the spotlight, and being your freaking amazing self. So really interesting, I was just about to go live, and you know, as you do, you look at your phone, you check your notifications, and I actually had a quick look at a notification from 2013. Hey Gaia, happy Monday, happy Sunday night. And what was really interesting, hey Joe, what was really interesting was to see a post that I had written in 2013 where I was, the link was promoting a webinar, but the rest of the post was kind of writing the way that I still tend to write now. Kind of long, but really, you know, tapping into some of my stuff, knowing how you guys are feeling with stepping up and stepping in. I just thought, isn't this fascinating? So I did a really quick trip down memory lane, and I was thinking about the way that my business model worked in 2013 compared to kind of what it looks like now. So I thought I would share a little bit of that with you, and a reminder that there's no right or wrong with what it is that you choose to do. It's just about making a choice and then staying the course for as long as is necessary, right? Or for as long as is viable, or for as long as it is working for you. So let's flash back to 2013, and I was making a lot of money, doing really well. It was awesome. And I was selling programs and courses. I had nothing under $6,000, right? Except for Sales and Marketing Spy School, which was an event, a 4-day event that I was selling for between $1,500 and $2,500 once a year. So the only way that you could kind of do much of anything with me in 2013 was in the more higher end stuff, the higher level training, consulting, one-on-one coaching, like mastermind, like that kind of level. And then everything else was, well, the lowest that I had was that $1,500. Sorry, my hair is driving me. Can we just talk about my hair for a second? I'm just going to interrupt my little monologue because my hair is driving me crazy. It's, I washed it today and it's slowly growing, right? But it's not doing anything that it's supposed to be doing. And I'm very fresh-faced and not feeling ridiculously attractive this morning. So thank you for bearing with me through my not amazingness. Or me not feeling amazingness. So now that that's all out of the way, try to hit her off because now I'm flushed. So 2013 was a really interesting year. It was a year for me where I was really happy to just kind of try anything. It was anything goes. And I remember working with some really amazing people. Some amazing people that came through in 2013. We moved into this house. I hit some really massive goals. Hey, Carol. And was able to help a lot of people all over the world actually that year. And I thought, you know, when I looked back at the piece of writing today, it's like, wow, that's still really relevant. You know, a lot of us, if you haven't read it, I literally just shared it back to the page again, maybe 10 minutes ago before hitting go live on here. And it was really interesting because it was a year of really kind of experimenting with my business and with the business model. And what it made me think about is how, like, these days it can be like we all want to know what the shortcut is to making more money. We all want to know what the shortcut is to helping more people. We all want to know, like, what the shortcut is. What's the magic pill? And I mean, it was the same back then. Hey, Linda, good morning. Thank you for saying hello. I really appreciate it. I really love it when you guys say hi and interact with me. Thank you. It lets me know that I'm not just sitting here talking into a void. So thank you. You know, it was really like the feeling that I know a lot of you have is this, because I felt it and I feel it still sometimes now, where there's this kind of like this pull to where you're going, and then there's like this pull back the other way, this kind of like resistance to like as to where you are, and trying to resolve that. A lot of us think this, okay, well, I've got to shift things. I've got to change things up. I've got to create a new program. I've got to do something differently. Maybe I should just be selling things for $10 and sell thousands of them. Maybe I should just sell things for $97 and sell thousands of them. Maybe I should sell something for $10,000 or $20,000 or $100,000 and, try that. And I guess the thing is that the best piece of advice that I could possibly give you is to know what your options are, but then test it, and you've got to stay the course. So for instance, with the, I for a really long time, I only promoted one-on-one work. So 2011, 2012, 2010, 2011, 2012 was a lot of one-on-one work for me. And I was doing all of this and I ran out of time, which is why I then started, it's like new level, new problem, right? It's like, okay, so I've got all of these people, that's great, but I've created an income ceiling for myself. So how am I going to get past that? How am I going to shift that? And so I implemented an 8-week program and started teaching through that. So this is going into, Frank Kern coined the phrase, I believe, the high paid advisor model. And the mentors that I was working at the time were working with him at the time. And that was where, instead of selling all of these smaller, cheaper things, you just go straight in at anywhere from like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. And you get people in that, and then they might go up into your one-on-one coaching, or they might go up into a mastermind or something like that. So it's more of a high ticket model. We heard a lot in 2013, 2014, 2015 about high ticket models, high ticket sales and things like that. And it worked and it was great. But for me, it was really interesting. I delivered a training this morning, and I was saying that back then when I was doing that, I was making 40, 50 calls a day, like dialing people. These are people who asked for phone calls, right? 40, 50 dials a day to get through to maybe 20 odd people, to have full conversations with maybe 4 or 5 people and make 1 or 2 sales a day. It was great. But let me rephrase that. The people were great and the money was great, but I was working insane numbers of hours trying to keep the ball rolling, right? It's like dialing 40, 50, sometimes 80 phone numbers a day is really fucking draining. And I'm chained to my desk, right? I can't move, I can't leave. I've got piles of paper this high, sitting there that I had to go through. It sounds really terrible. And I'm not telling you this or sharing this with you to sound ungrateful, but more to share with you and impress upon you that if you're wondering if there is a better way, there probably is, but the results may not be the same, or it might look a little bit different to kind of what you thought. Right? Like it's just, but you've also got to you've got to do your time. So I did all of that, really, really did my time. And, what got me was that I thought, right, well, the only way to now scale is to build teams. So the business model that I'm talking about at the moment is a high paid advisor model, where it's kind of like a descension model, right? So you've got ascension models where people go from free to cheap to not so cheap to kind of cheap, but not really very cheap, and then more and more expensive, as they move through your stuff. And then you've got the high paid advisor model. So this is the high paid advisor model. And it worked like a dream. It was amazing. But I am very driven by both structure and freedom. And I suspect you probably are as well. Like, I want to be able to go away when I want to be able to go away. I want to be able to go to the gym when I want to go to the gym, assuming it's not Corona time. I want to hang out with my kids when they're on holidays. I wanted all of that. Hey, Kim. But for me, like feeling like I had to sit on the phone all day, every day it eroded that very thing that I was trying to create. There was no choice. There was no freedom. Yeah, I had great money, but it wasn't worth the price that I was paying for me. And so I thought, right, well, I don't want to do that. So let's start growing team. Like, let's build team. And so I had salespeople, I had a PA, I had a home help person, and it was all well and good until it's not good. And, it was just kind of like, like, for what reason, when you run your numbers, hey, Kim, glad to see you. Thank you for commenting. Hey, Sarah. It was that thing where it was really, really good until it wasn't. I felt like there was so much stress and so much pressure, because when you start hiring more and more people, you've got more infrastructure costs, right? The reality is you've got more infrastructure costs. So if you want people to do the things that you don't want to do, you've got to hire someone to do that. Unless you've got children who are willing to work for free, and, you know, when they were that young, they were not willing to do that. So there was the kind of thing where I've gone, okay, well, I don't know what to do here, because, you know, my average sales were around $8,000 per person, which is great. Cost per acquisition was really low, maybe about $500. So for every $500 I was spending, I was making between $5,000 and $10,000. Really fucking awesome return on investment, right? So, but you've got to put in a lot of money to get that ball rolling, and then everything kind of snowballs from there. And it was really, really good, but it was a very expensive, for me, a very expensive business model to run. So when I decided to kind of like shift and change, and this is sort of what I've been reflecting on, it's like, okay, well, if I want choice and freedom, right? If those two things are the biggest things that I really crave and that I really missed actually through that time, then what do I need to do? How do I need to shift and evolve and change things so that I've got that? Because I don't want to be on call every minute of every day. That's not what I want, right? I'm happy if I've got clients at a really high level, then you know what? I'm super happy to be available for them. But at the way that I built things, I was not happy with that. So I decided to kind of shift things up a bit, and it took, you know when you're really warm and it's winter here in Australia, right? So it's cold here. So you know when you're really warm inside and the heater is going and, you know, or the furnace is going and you're nice and toasty and warm, and it's really, really cold outside, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to go out there, but it takes a lot of effort to kind of get over the threshold. You've got it, like for me, it's like I've got to have my jacket on and my scarf and my beanie and my shoes, and, you know, like just try and be as warm as possible. And it's kind of like, okay, out the door, and then you're off and you're out, and it's good when you're going, right? But sometimes that initial thing is really hard. Some people find this with going to the gym, that if you like trying to get out of the door to go to the gym is sometimes the hardest thing. I have found in my experience that shifting a business model is a bit like that. It's a bit like I had this, I knew that I was probably going to like it, but I was really nervous about it not working because I knew the high ticket thing worked. I was really nervous that it would, you know, there's the bullshit that we tell ourselves. So I'm journaling today, and I'm like, wow. I was writing some shit. Oh, you know, like he has this, like, direct from my journal this morning. I've been feeling stalled, but it's at the same time growing. It's really weird, I guess. And what I feel like is that I've just got bullshit, like this big bullshit in my journal. It's like, that is total horseshit, Nicola. You are completely full of shit. And I think like this is part of the thing that we do. We get like so caught up in our own bullshit around why we're not where we want to be, or around why we can't change what it is that we want to change, or why we can't do what it is that we want to do, why we can't say what we want to say, why we can do all of the things, or why we are doing the things. And it's all complete bullshit, right? Because you can make anything work if it's aligned, and if you've got the staying power to get it going and to dig in, it will work. So I was talking to Jesse Alexander last week, amazing country music artist in the States, real like gracious, amazing, badass person. And you know, one of the things that I asked her is like, what do you think is actually necessary for success? And she said passion and persistence. And I said, yeah, okay, that's really interesting. Because I think that's the stuff that I see with small business owners everywhere. You know, I mean, the music industry is insanely tough to make it, like, in order to get out there and be picked and be chosen and pick up a deal and, you know, this, that, and the other. And I think like we're a bit lucky in the world of small business where so long as we can be visible, we're not reliant on a record label picking us up, right? We're just really reliant on getting our message in front of the right people and having them go like, oh yes, thank fuck, finally, this is exactly what I need. Hey Jill, great to see you. Happy Sunday night. And I guess like the thing, if you really want to make it, you can make any business model work if you are willing to be persistent and if you've got the passion to keep going. And sometimes, and it's annoyingly so, sometimes the people who are less talented than you will make it, right? The people who are less talented than you will make it if they have got the grit and the persistence and the passion to keep on going and just to keep trying and to keep going and to keep trying. And you've got to have staying power. There's also, I guess, that thing where you've got to be mindful of making the best and the right decisions that you can make for yourself right now, because that's also really key, and that is going to change. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago. I'm not the same person I was when I started this business 10 years ago. Shit. This time 4 years ago, we had funny that all these memories are coming up actually. There was a memory that came up in my husband's phone and my phone this morning. We were traveling to the UK this time 4 years ago. So in 2016, 4 years. And Dom's like, wow, that's gone really fast. And I said, yeah, but no. So think about the last 4 years. Think about what 2016 was like. 2016 was a really fucked year for us in a manner of speaking. And personally rather. And it was just really, really, really curious to see or to think, it's like, wow, this has happened since then, and this has happened since then, and this has happened since then. We are not the same people we were back then. We're completely different. They're still at heart the same people, but completely different. And so your business, if you think about your business like a relationship, right? And the tools that you use within your business can almost be a little bit like a relationship as well. So the way that you sell is a bit like a relationship. The way that you market is a relationship. But also the way that you deliver what you deliver is like a relationship. And some relationships are like reason, season, and there's something else that I can't remember. There's a reason for it, there's a season for it. Is it reason, season, lifetime? Maybe. It's like friendships, right? You're friends with people usually for a reason or for a season or for a life. Is that right? If anyone can remember what the three are, let me know, because I can't. I think that's what they were. But your business model, it's like you're not married to your business model in the way that it looks right now, right? So right now, if you're doing a whole lot of one-on-one stuff, that's great. That might serve you and serve your people for the next 6 to 12 months. That doesn't mean that in the next 6 to 12 months, you can't then change it within it. You're not divorcing your business. You're just kind of like wearing some sexy lingerie or like going on a dirty weekend or, that's not even true. But reconnecting, finding a way to reconnect and fall back in love with your business. Because here's the thing, we all know that a bit of racy lingerie is great for during the thing, but it's not the thing that is going to make your marriage work for the foreseeable future, for eternity, right? Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't think so. So, like a quick little tool might get you some result, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be long lasting. You've got to have a look at, all right, well, if this is the track that I'm going to go down, let's just, commit to that, go the distance, and then make a new decision later on if you need to. So an ascension model, what that looks like, just because I talked about the descension model a fair bit. So the descension model or the high ticket advisor, high paid advisor model is where people come in and they pretty much pay you a fair chunk of money from the word go, like $2,500 and up. An ascension model is where people come in and they might pay you $7 for something at the start and then $97. And then maybe the next thing that you release is like $150 or $250 or $500. And then the next thing that you offer is the next thing up. So at the moment, I'm running Contentology and running that into July, which is $97, right? And super amazing daily bits of information and inspiration and motivation to getting your content out there. some people who were in that in June have gone into the program that starts today, actually, called Funnelicious, which is all about bringing people in through your marketing funnel, helping them learn to get to know you, like you, trust you, having a bunch of that automated so that you don't have to sit there and email everybody individually, and also have a way of connecting with people outside of social media, which is crucially important to you building a sustainable business. And then like some people from Funnelicious, for instance, will then go into maybe an event, or they might go into, like they might want one-on-one, or they might come into Rebel Squad, which is our mastermind, or they might want me for a 3-month accelerator program, you know, to really kick their ass for 3 months and, you know, on the one-on-one. So it just depends. Like that's what an ascension model looks like, where you've got lower end offers and people kind of like self-select as they oscillate up into the next thing and then into the next thing. And some people just kind of like hang here for a bit. Some people bounce straight out, and then other people will buy more and more from you. The average upsell, so, and this is self-selected, the average number of people that will buy something and then going up into something else is about 25%. So, you know, into the next thing that you're selling. So even though they might start at like $97 or something like that, if your next program's a bit more expensive because they trust you more, or that next program solves their next problem for them, then 20% of people will buy that. And actually it might be even more, like 30 or 40 or 50% in your case, depending on what you're doing. And then of those people, more people will leverage up into the new thing. Some people will come straight in at that $500 mark, for example, and then some of those will upgrade and some of them won't. So that's what an ascension model looks like. It's a really, to me, it depending, so long as you're not out there trying to, you know, run webinars to sell these low-end things, you really want to be strategic about how you're doing it. But if you're looking at an ascension model, it's a really great way of growing and building your business incrementally over time. The trick is it requires staying power, right? You have to keep working it, because you've got to keep bringing in new people for you to be able to manage your cash flow, right? So to me, you know, I was telling you before that freedom and choice were really important to me. The benefit, in my mind, of an ascension model like that is that you've got to spend, because the commitment financially is lower, you don't need to spend time with people on the phones generally to get those sales happening, right? Whereas if you're going into something that's maybe $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, most people want to have a conversation with you before jumping in and doing that, right? They just want to understand and make sure that they're safe, that you can help them, that it's the right fit. But at $97 or even sometimes $500, you know, it's the type of thing where they're prepared to take a little bit more risk because there's not so much financial skin in the game, but it will still pay off. So they're the two types of models. High ticket advisor or high paid advisor model, which kind of like comes in at the higher level. And then you've got that ascension model. The ascension model really is going to require you to work that puppy for at least 2 or 3 years. At least 2 or 3 years for you to be able to build volume, unless you've got a fuck ton of money to put in at the front end for traffic. So just bear all of those things in mind. I hope that helps you. I trust that helps you. We are going into more of that with Funnelicious, which is starting today. I'm so excited. And you can find out more about that there. You can find out more about that there. You can find out more about that here. Let me just put that in there so that you've got that. Hopefully you guys can see that. You should be able to see that in the link there. Let me know what you're working on today. I'm excited to hear what you guys are up to, or if you have what do you want? Would you prefer an ascension model? Would you prefer a high paid advisor model? Like what would work better for you, or what are you doing? What have you found? So there you go. The way that you'll be in the next 2 years won't be the way that you are today. It'll be really interesting. I can't wait to see what these next couple of years hold. It goes in the blink of an eye, and it can also feel like it takes forever. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Jump into Funnelicious if you are not already in there. If you have questions, just message me. You know where to find me. And in the meantime, get out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it. And remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesome. I will see you tomorrow, if not before.